Hello, YouTube fam. How y'all doing? It's your Uncle Tim. This is Uncle Tim Rants and Reviews, the channel where I rant and I review. I'm your host, Uncle Tim. I see Target and Walmart are starting to pull self-checkout. They're going to start pulling them from stores in a minute. They're not going to pull all of them, but they're going to pull a lot of them and have cashiers up there again because they saying people are stealing. But you stealing from them too. You got them working for free. And at the end, paying for the stuff. So since they like, shit, I'm getting this, I'm working for free, I might as well get the product for free. And I'm gonna tell you something. You thought that shit was on fly. And it just wasn't. People got tired. Even the people who did ring up all their stuff, they looking at it like, man, this is a cop-out. You need to have somebody up here to ring me up. You don't want to ring your stuff up. You got a whole bunch of damn. So you got a cart full of shit and you ringing it up. You got to find produce tags and stuff like that. Man, you know what? I blame them for this. You were so quick to get rid of the cashiers, man, because we could save money on self-checkout. Hell, and half of the time some of the machines are broken, bro. What are we doing here? Then, people looking at you like, could you move a little faster and this and that? And you like, shit, you can ring it up yourself if you like. I ain't got no time for nobody here, bro. This is real. Like I told you. I ain't got time for people. You ain't gonna rush me. Hell, if you gonna do anything, your ass will ring it up. Like I said, at the end of the day, you can do whatever it is you want to do. You can be froggy as a frog if you like. And that's how I look at it. I don't play with people. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to be your buddy. I'm here to actually get what I'm paying for and leave. And that's the thing, man. Sometimes, you come in, and ain't no lie, even if I want to come in and leave, I'm still speaking. So don't get it, mixed up. I'm going to speak. And if you want to chop it up, I chop it up with you. But if you don't want to chop it up, I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to just, keep it for what it is. Speak and leave it for what it is. But, and, a lot of people say, hey, look, I'm, inadequate around people. So the self-checkout worked for me. You know what? Self-checkout works for nobody. Dude, we need to be around people. We need to become people. We don't need to be put alone somewhere and sit back and look and try to figure what is going on. I've been sitting here thinking to my damn self, man, CVS got self-checkout. What else? There's a couple other stores that I see with self-checkout, man, and I'm like, Ross tried that at a couple of stores, man, but I don't think that one worked out too good for them, man, because again, at the end of the day, sometimes you got to stay on top of people, man, because people gonna be people. And, hell, sometimes not everybody is on the up and up. And as I see it, man, that's the worst thing you could do any damn way. But you know what? I'm going to say this. Just doing this, man, I just honestly thought that was a bad idea, man. I didn't feel like being bothered with any of that. I don't want to ring my shit up. I don't want to have to ring my own liquor up either. 21 on 3, somebody got to come that's 21 to scan your liquor. So damn, you telling me the minor can't scan the liquor? You ain't buying the liquor, you just scanning it. It's your damn job. At first you used to could do that. Then they started raising all these ethical concerns about shit, man, and that's when everything started changing, man. It's just a lot of work for no apparent damn reason. There's so many loopholes, and we don't want them to do this or do that. Then get mad when they ain't doing none of that. Dude, look, I am so tired of all of this, man. It's just crazy. It's too much technology being used. You trying to get rid of... Do you see they got self-driving trucks? You see this shit? From Houston, I think from Dallas to Houston or Houston to Dallas, the first self-driving truck will be making that route. They got cameras and every damn thing all over it. But I said one thing about self-driving trucks. I was just thinking, I said, damn, you really trying to get rid of everybody from working, huh? What you gonna do with all 8 billion people? And I think y'all missing the thing. I say maybe a reset is coming, bro, because they phasing us out. They study cutting jobs. And I'm sitting here thinking, maybe this would be a way to bring some jobs back, get some people some hours. Target really lost, because they have that what $1 billion debt, like $1 billion worth of debt from stealing. And you remember the boycott, and they still dealing with that because people don't want to mess with them no more. They just like, look, you sided with the wrong damn people. Why would you side with the people that don't do any damn thing for you? Like I said, at the end of the day, we buy their products. And if you screw over the people buying your product for the people who ain't, it sounds like, yeah, I don't want no money. And, like I said, the CEO, took a pay cut. He only make $9 million a year now. Man, I'm like, come on, how do we supposed to live off of $9 million a year? Dude, y'all playing with me. This shit is real. This shit has been rigged since day one, man. And, like I said, man, I don't know. I'm just tired of thinking, man, about all of that craziness when it comes down to this self-driving truck, self-driving cars. Then they're making cars now. Ford is making cars now. Whereas if you miss a couple of payments, the car will drive back to the repo lot. It will drive back to, where it's scheduled to go back to when you don't pay, when you default. Dude, I'm like, wait, hold on. Man, come on. See, I'm going to say this. People ask why cars are so expensive now. You want all these luxuries on a car. Guess what? They're going to cost. All this shit you want is going to cost. And now that it's costing, man, because these cars are coming out costing damn near, like where it used to be a couple of years ago with all the bells and whistles, you get a car for 40 or 50,000. Now that ain't even got a bell or whistle on it. You like 40, 50,000. Like, shit, you better throw another 10 on that for something at least. Bro, this is what I'm talking about. Man, for every good deed that's done, it seems like there's another one, man. They closing up a lot of those free clinics where people used to go to get free medical assistance and all that stuff. They're closing up a lot of that. And I'm like, all the shit for the people is just being phased out. And I know everybody on holler, there's no freebies. See, that's the problem. No, those been around since Ronald Reagan. And you're about to phase them out now? Why? Shit, I'm like, man, people really need it now. These jobs are not paying what they're supposed to. And I know y'all be like, but some of these jobs are just, starting out jobs, and you're supposed to leave those and go somewhere else. But there got to be jobs for people to go to. And that's what people missing the mark at. Well, see, that's what college come in. And see, like I said before on that, college is a whole different beast. A lot of these things are designed just to keep you in debt, man. Yeah, this is just something real, man. And this is something that we got to think about, man. I think a lot of times we miss the mark and we don't pay attention. But to later, peace.